But first, we want to turn to some breaking news from overnight. A car drove into the outside seating area of a Denver restaurant, hitting 3 people. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Scafidi. Take a look at these photos. This is that truck that drove into the Ugly Dog Sports Cafe. These are from the Adams County Sheriff's Office. You can see that truck just right in the middle of everything. They posted about the incident just before 1 a.m. The driver is in custody. The 3 people who were hit were taken to the hospital. We did talk to the Sheriff's Office. They confirmed no one else was hurt, but there are no updates right now on how those people who were hit are doing. The Sheriff's Office is still investigating, but they think intoxication could be a factor in all of this. This is a developing situation. We'll be sure to update you on air and on our website, 9news.com, of course, as we learn more. Some relief for fire crews in Colorado as we finally cooled down a bit from those high temperatures we saw last week. That's helping our crews on the western slope right now. They are so busy battling several wildfires this morning. Rio Blanco County is finally really feeling the brunt of these fires. The Sheriff's Office says the recently sparked Yellow Jacket fire is 29 acres and 40% contained. It's burning northeast of Meeker on the White River National Forest land. The U.S. Forest Service says resources from the nearby Lee Fire are being used to fight this fire. Now let's get to that Lee Fire. Crews are making progress on containing it. Officials say it's now 42% contained, which is a pretty decent jump from yesterday's 31%. The fire has burned more than 137,000 acres in size, or 214 square miles. It's currently the 5th largest wildfire in Colorado history. And new this morning, the nearby Elk Fire is now officially 100% contained. That is great news. This fire has burned more than 14,000 acres, or 22 square miles. There are now more than 1,200 first responders assigned to battle both the Lee and the Elk fires. Let's send things on over to weather impact meteorologist Jaden Knowles. Jaden, some relief today. It's not going to be as windy.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. Not as windy today, so that is some relief. And yesterday, we actually saw not 90 degrees for once. So we actually had an official high of 89 degrees here in Denver yesterday. But of course, all that's changing. Warmer conditions today, and then for the rest of the week, we're talking about the low to mid 90s and even the upper 90s occasionally. So far, though, looking outside, clear skies towards the eastern plains. Akron, lots of sunshine there. Of course, warmer temperatures today. Temperatures already, if you're heading out the door, getting ready to head to church or maybe just for a nice walk this morning. The upper 60s as well as the low 70s. 70 degrees currently at the airport, and then current temperatures across the rest of the state. We're in the upper 60s, low 70s for the eastern plains. 50s in the high country, then also the upper 60s towards the western slope. Radar is nice and quiet right now, and that should remain the same way as we head into this afternoon. We are tracking maybe the potential for an isolated stray shower, mainly towards the high country, then maybe by parts of Fort Collins. But overall, today's high, 92 degrees. I'll tell you what to expect as we head into the next week, and then as well as just for the rest of your afternoon hours in my full forecast. Lauren?
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Jaden. Crews in the metro area also faced some high fire danger this weekend. Aurora firefighters had to deal with a brush fire. It broke out on East 26th Avenue and North Montague Road just before 2:30 yesterday. Aurora Fire Rescue says it burned around 3 acres. Crews spent the rest of the afternoon mopping up hot spots. Right now, the cause of the fire is under investigation. It's now been 5 years since the Cameron Peak Fire tore through Larimer County, the largest wildfire in Colorado's history. Yesterday, survivors, firefighters, and community leaders gathered in Poudre Canyon to remember the wildfire that burned for months in 2020, from August until December. Firefighters remembered the fire even burned through the snow. The fire ultimately burned more than 200,000 acres of national forest land and in Rocky Mountain National Park. At its peak, it forced more than 6,000 people to evacuate their homes. The fire did still get to some of those homes, burning 184 of them. Larimer County guesses the property losses are more than $6 million. The city of Denver now says they've blocked a local police department from accessing the data from Denver's Flock license plate camera readers. Denver police blocked federal agents from accessing their Flock data months ago, but they have now blocked Loveland police from accessing their data. This comes one day after 9 News reported Loveland police are sharing access to its Flock data with U.S. Border Patrol. Loveland police declined to comment for that report. The University of Denver Library will reopen this morning on schedule after a man stabbed another man inside the library. Police say it happened on the first floor of the Anderson Academic Commons just before 1:30 yesterday afternoon. They say 2 men who were not DU students got into the building to escape the heat, but then things got heated in a different way. They got into a fight. One pulled a knife, hurting the other in the hand and shoulder. Officers arrested the man on aggravated assault charges. Police say the two men did know each other. DU closed the library for the rest of the day. Taking a live look now over the nation's capital this morning, where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will meet tomorrow. And new this morning, European and NATO leaders will also be joining. That's according to a post by the European Commission president early this morning. Sources tell NBC News that Trump talked with President Zelensky and European leaders by phone ahead of the visit. The conversation was reportedly about the U.S. being a part of a potential NATO-like security guarantee for Ukraine as a part of a peace deal with Russia. Ukraine has said it wants guarantees from the U.S. and Europe that they would come to their defense in the future if Russia tried to invade Ukraine again. After getting back to Washington from his meeting in Alaska with Putin, Trump said on social media, the best way to end the war is to get a peace agreement and not just a ceasefire. New this morning, the Republican governors of 3 states announced that they'll send National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. That's going to be West Virginia, South Carolina, and Ohio. This is an escalation of President Donald Trump's efforts to federally take over law enforcement in the city. West Virginia's governor said his state was sending 300 to 400 National Guard troops to the nation's capital. South Carolina authorized the deployment of 200 troops, and Ohio said it would send 150. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is reversing course on an order that stripped D.C.'s police chief of her authority. Under a new agreement, Police Chief Pamela Smith will stay in charge of day-to-day operations while still reporting to D.C.'s mayor. This comes after D.C.'s attorney filed a lawsuit challenging the administration's attempted takeover of the police department. However, the DOJ isn't backing off entirely. A new order now requires the mayor to direct police to help with immigration enforcement and share information with federal agencies, effectively ending D.C.'s status as a sanctuary city.